With the threat of a wider war in the Middle East escalating by the day, a sudden headline emerged. Pakistan claimed it was stepping in to officially mediate peace talks between the United States and Iran. Islamabad was highly specific about its role. They claimed they were actively hosting direct back-channel negotiations to bring both sides to the table and prevent a regional catastrophe. Iran instantly shut that narrative down. Tehran stated explicitly that they have zero participation in these supposed meetings, exposing the entire mediation claim as a fabrication. The international blowback was swift. India's external affairs minister harshly dismissed Pakistan's attempts, labeling them a broker nation trying to force its way into a conflict where it simply doesn't belong. The collapse of this mediation highlights a sobering reality. No formal peace process currently exists between the United States and Iran. Why would a country already battling massive internal economic crises and border instability invent a major diplomatic breakthrough? It comes down to geopolitical survival. Islamabad needs to project global relevance and shake off its reputation as a security-dependent client state of China. Pakistan's military leadership is trying to use its position as a neighbor to both nations. By leaning on historical ties with Washington and shared borders with Iran, they are attempting to artificially inflate their value on the world stage. There is a tangible fear driving this stunt. If a full-scale war breaks out next door, it will trigger a massive wave of refugees pouring across the Balochistan border, which would completely destabilize an already fragile Pakistan. With Pakistan's mediation exposed as an illusion, a diplomatic vacuum now exists between Washington and Tehran, a void the United States military is actively moving in to fill. To understand what happens next, we have to look at the playbook. In almost every major conflict since World War II, the United States military has relied on a historical three-phase war doctrine. Phase 1 requires air superiority. This involves targeted aerial strikes designed to weaken military bases and air defense systems, clearing the path for further operations. The U.S. is now moving into Phase 2, force projection. This is the transition from aerial preparation to massing physical military assets on the border to intimidate the adversary. The Pentagon has rapidly deployed elements of the 82nd Airborne Division straight into the Middle East. These paratroopers serve as the elite rapid response force. They're engineered to drop directly into enemy territory anywhere on the globe within 18 to 24 hours. The deployment of the 82nd Airborne is the physical manifestation of Phase 2 deterrence, the final warning before a ground invasion. If deterrence fails and Phase 3 begins, what targets are these elite paratroopers preparing to capture? This map shows the first primary objective, the Strait of Hormuz. It is a global oil choke point, and the U.S. faces massive international pressure to ensure this maritime corridor remains open. Moving deeper into the Persian Gulf, we find target number 2. This landmass is Karg Island, the economic heart of Iran. Karg Islands, if U.S. forces seize this terminal, they would instantly cut off Tehran's primary revenue stream and collapse the Iranian economy. The third major target focuses on nuclear containment. U.S. forces would aim to secure key facilities to seize roughly 400 kilograms of enriched uranium, neutralizing Iran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon. A potential Phase 3 ground operation is a highly calculated strike designed to systematically dismantle Iran's wealth and advanced weaponry. Iran is not backing down. Tehran has explicitly stated they are waiting for an invasion, threatening to turn any U.S. deployment into a graveyard for American soldiers. This standoff leads to 3 possible outcomes. The first is de-escalation. In this scenario, the massive troop buildup functions as a bluff, forcing Iran to back down. The second scenario is a limited ground operation. Rather than marching on the mainland, the U.S. executes a surgical invasion, dropping troops to capture Karg Island and cripple the economy. The third and final scenario is full-scale war. If deterrence fails entirely, it triggers a massive ground invasion that would engulf the entire Middle East in conflict. While Pakistan tried to project an illusion of diplomatic control, the reality is that the U.S. military doctrine is already in motion. The entire region is now holding its breath, waiting to see if the first shots of a ground war are about to be fired.